In an era when global stability is fragile, when decisions about war are often made in a split second and consequences reverberate across continents, a brand new U.S. Navy spy submarine, the USS Jimmy Carter, finds itself after a standoff that nearly changes the course of history. This is an original sequel story currently in development, which has been recommended by script analysts. The film is expected to star two Hollywood superstars, Denzel Washington and Dwayne Johnson. Based on the 1995 U.S. Navy submarine film, Crimson Tide, this is a story of conflict, courage, and the collision of ideologies beneath the surface of the ocean. In the previous episode, both Captain Ramsay and Major Hunter faced court, where their actions would be heavily scrutinized under international law and military protocol.
Dedicated service to his country.
What is the verdict? Both are right, both are wrong. But one thing is clear: their shared determination to protect their country ultimately averted disaster. The Pearl Harbor Tribunal informally reprimanded the two men for failing to resolve their differences. But on Ramsay's personal recommendation, the court agreed to grant Hunt command of his own submarine, while allowing Ramsay to save face by taking an honorable early retirement.
You were right, Oswald.
In the sequel, the Seawolf-class submarine is commanded by the battle-hardened Lieutenant Commander Hunter, a man of calm and experience. Next to him is Navy SEAL Major Dwayne Johnson, who has a physique and image that the sailors fear. He always maintains his own beliefs. Unlike Commander Hunter, he speaks in his own way, and what he wants to say is what he means. USS Jimmy Carter SSN-23 is the third and final Seawolf-class nuclear-powered fast attack submarine of the United States Navy. She joined the Army in 2005 and was named after the 39th President of the United States, Jimmy Carter. Their mission is to install surveillance equipment on submarine cables near China and recover sensitive military equipment, such as rocket and missile fragments. The Jimmy Carter is equipped with a special M&P section to accommodate CL divers for underwater operations. The one working is Major Dwayne Johnson. The Jimmy Carter was assigned a classified mission, codenamed 9, which lasted nearly 4 months. This mission is vital to the national security of the United States. It is carried out under harsh conditions without external support. This means that if something goes wrong, there will be no reinforcements, and they can only rely on themselves to save themselves. The USS Jimmy Carter SSN-23 is now sailing through the dark waters of the South China Sea. The area around her position was littered with mines. These are considered China's defensive measures against U.S. submarines. Because the Seawolf-class is too quiet, the Chinese Navy has the largest number of ships in the world, and its maritime strength is constantly increasing. But the Jimmy Carter is 70 times quieter than its predecessor, the Los Angeles-class. There is no way the Chinese could detect them unless they screw up. In fact, someone did screw up the Gavia scientific mission, but a high-risk covered operation deep in the disputed waters of the South China Sea. The unmanned submarine has broken down, and now they must find a way to recover it to prevent the highly confidential equipment on it from falling into the hands of the Chinese. Now, Commander Hunter led his crew into disputed waters, dodging minefields where the risks had increased exponentially. However, advanced Chinese ships, including the Type ZO-55 destroyer and the Type ZO-93 nuclear submarine, are still cruising in the deep sea. Forming a deadly underwater chessboard, where one wrong move could trigger an international crisis. The USS Jimmy Carter is equipped with cutting-edge underwater technology and modular capabilities, making it ideal for covert operations. The submarine deploys underwater vehicles and special forces personnel to perform key parts of its mission. Major Dwayne Johnson and his team are clearing obstacles on the sea and preparing to recover the unmanned boat. However, the Gavia was stuck deep in the sea and could not be recovered by manpower. The Major withdrew the divers and prepared to dispatch an underwater vehicle to recover it using the robotic arm on it. But at this moment, an accident happened. A mine exploded unexpectedly, causing a shock wave that overturned the underwater vehicle. The tremendous power of the mine explosion can be seen on the sea surface. The Jimmy Carter was nearly hit, and shock waves echoed through the control room. With the Chinese Navy stepping up patrols, the risk of being discovered now is multiplied. Commander Hunter must rely on his calm, thoughtful leadership, traits he developed during the Alabama crisis. It was a dramatic moment of decision, making Hunter and his XO were discussing a high-risk move. We must give up rescuing the underwater vehicle and the CLs on it. If we continue to stay here and are discovered by the Chinese Navy, there will be no turning back. There is no room for error. Lieutenant Colonel Hunter knows that sometimes making the right decision is the hardest. He's been in this situation before. He said, "Believe me, we have to avoid the Chinese Navy." But the Major refused, "Leave no man behind." He insisted on staying to rescue his team members, even though the sonar had reported contact with at least 2 Type LM-93 submarines heading towards their location. This put Lieutenant Commander Hunter in a dilemma, but there were 133 crew members and 30 SEALs on the Seawolf, and he had to be responsible for their lives. He refused Major Johnson's request, even when he pointed a pistol at him. In the dark, murky waters, the USS Jimmy Carter SSN-23 glides silently through the depths. The knocking of underwater vehicles echoed faintly in the background as the sonar officer listened. They are all still alive. When Major Johnson found out, he could no longer hold back. He couldn't let them die in the murky depths of the South China Sea, so he and his team began their rebellion mission. The target, the engine compartment. The crew was no match for these well-trained cells. They were quickly restrained by Major Johnson and his men. He told Hunter, "We're here to preserve democracy, not to practice it." The SEALs took control of the bridge and were ordered to stay put and prepare to rescue the underwater vehicle. Sonar reports we've got a Type LM-93 closing fast, ETA 5 minutes. The Chinese sub fired a torpedo. Although the torpedo did not hit them, suddenly an explosion broke the water's surface and the shock wave hit the submarine. A sudden detonation severely damaged the USS Jimmy Carter, leaving it crippled and forcing the rock to make a devastating decision. Abort the mission and save the crew. But Johnson's actions pushed the limits of operational risk, placing both the CL team and the submarine in grave danger. The USS Jimmy Carter faced not only mechanical failure, but also the possibility of escalating an international incident. Seal the compartments. We're pulling out. No mission is worth the lives of this crew. Hunter resumed some command, addresses his team, his voice resolute, while he ordered the torpedoes to be loaded and fired at the Chinese submarine. If we stay, we risk everyone on this boat. If we leave, we risk them out there. Damn it, Johnson. Hunter responded angrily. The Seawolf-class fired Mk-48 towards the Chinese Type ZOA-93, while preparing the UGM-84 to target the Chinese fleet. Sonar operators detect approaching Chinese destroyers. During the process, the Chinese Type Zhao-93 broke away from the pursuit of the Mk-48 and further launched more torpedoes in retaliation. The Jimmy Carter was frustrated. What was originally just a secret salvage mission in the South China Sea later evolved into a thrilling battle for survival. The USS Jimmy Carter was damaged by the explosion and now faces a new deadly threat as another Chinese Type Submarine-93 submarine comes in pursuit. The Rock. Johnson admitted his mistake and surrendered to Ron Hunter. Now the Jimmy Carter limped into the dark depths of the South China Sea, its hull scarred by earlier explosions. In the Jimmy Carter's control room, tension thick in the air. Captain, we've got a contact. There are two of the Chinese Type R-93s are closing fast. Battle stations. Dive the boat. Let's see if we can shake them. Hunter ordered. China's Type ZR-93 submarine, one of the most advanced ballistic missile platforms in the world, relentlessly pursued the crippled Jimmy Carter, with their vessel unable to outmaneuver the enemy. Captain Ron Hunter faced a critical decision. This is on me. My decision endangered this crew. Captain Hunter was right, and it's time I own up to it. Johnson steps into the control room, his demeanor solemn. With tensions eased between Hunter and Johnson, the crew rallied for one last stand. The Jimmy Carter prepared to counterattack, knowing survival depended on precision and timing. As the Seawolf-class continued to dive deeper, Type ZR-93 submarines were sleek silhouette gliding through the depths, weapons prime. Suddenly, everything went wrong. When the depth exceeded 400 meters, one of the Type ZR-93 submarines could not withstand the pressure and exploded. Jimmy Carter dodged the incoming shockwave and was nearly destroyed. As the water depth exceeded 600 meters, it was approaching the limit of the Seawolf-class. But Hunter did not surface, so the second Type ZR-93 also could not withstand the strong water pressure and exploded nearby, shaking the entire control room. In this tense underwater game, the USS Jimmy Carter relied on its deep diving submarines and torpedo pursuit, and cleverly used its own advantages to fight back. The strategy adopted by Captain Hunter determined the fate of his crew. Captain, I made a mistake. I put everyone at risk. I am impressed that you destroyed 2 enemy submarines without firing a single shot. I have decided to obey your orders. Hunter pausing, then nodding good. Let's finish this together. In the ending, Captain Ron Hunter allows the Rock Johnson to atone for his crime by allowing him to swim out of the torpedo tube with backup oxygen to rescue the underwater vehicle. The crew preparing Johnson for the rescue, fitting him into advanced diving gear, attaching backup oxygen canisters, and briefing him on the mission. A launch crew preps the torpedo tube for his exit. Johnson, the rocket, hesitating but nodding firmly. I won't let you down, Captain. Johnson to Hunter, if I don't make it back, tell my team, you always have my respect. Against all odds, Johnson succeeded in restoring the DSRV to operational status. The vessel ascended, carrying its crew to safety. Please note that this script is still in development, and the final story and ending may be changed and modified based on the production company's opinions. Thanks for watching.